up, I'm going to go straight through this for everyone, but there will be a chance to network and chat through at the end as well. So bear with me a second. Let's have a look and share my screen. Let's go for screen 2 here. Bear with me a second. Okie dokie. Should be all good. Can people see everything all right? Can they let me know? Make sure everything's been seen okay? Everyone can see this? All good? Fantastic. Okie dokie. And also, bear with me a second. I need to, sorry. How do I, let me, apologies. I'm trying to figure out, how do I get the actual text up on my slide? Not to worry, I can upload it onto a different thing. Bear with me a second. Apologies, everyone. What a technical nightmare we're having. Here we go. I can have a look on this one here. And bear with me as I got double screens. Okie dokie. So connecting with audiences with little to no budget. What we're going to be working through today is having a look in regards to a bit of a mindset shift and also some tips, tricks, and methods and ways that we can apply to connect with audiences. And when I say with little to no budget, I mean from the very sort of little to no budget at all to maybe a few £100s or so, depending on what you've got with businesses. A lot of the time when I work with local businesses, there's the situation of they're focused quite heavily on their budget. So to clarify, my name is Carley. I'm a consultant and educator. I work with local businesses, international businesses, and I help people connect with their audience, ideally through better visual communication, as it were. One of the things that comes up an awful lot for me is the budget, and it's the wrong sort of mindset. And I'm going to explain why it's the wrong sort of mindset as we go on through. So to give you an example of something that I've done recently to give you an idea, this is for a large-scale organization, multinational organization called Marlink. They go to all sorts of events around the world. One of the struggles was they were hosting PowerPoint slides to these large-scale events with people in person. They were like 80-slide PowerPoints. When you're at these events, you haven't got time, you want to get straight to the point. They approached me in a creative way of making this more accessible. They said that they got access to touchscreens. So what I managed to develop for them was an interactive touchscreen system. We animated some of their slides. We made it a lot more interactive for them. This cut down heavily on budgets of having staff maintain the PowerPoints, paying for the PowerPoint licenses. And then when the pandemic hit, there was a big panic on what we can do. But because the system I created was HTML based, it could then be sent out and viewed on iPads. Links could be sent out to people, so they were still able to get their pictures and their information out to people as well. So one of the things I like to focus on is the creative ways of getting connected to the audiences and ways that we can do this. So this particular workshop, we're going to explore these issues. And we're going to go over them a bit swiftly, as it were, because of time and the delayed start. So we're going to focus a little bit on investing time rather than money, the failures of social posting, networking. I know we talked a little bit about networking as well, assumptions versus opposites, methods and tricks to help. One of the key things I really wanted to get across and make clear, and this is something I say, I get it from the large scale businesses and I get it from the small scale businesses as well. People often think they have operational limits because they've got financial restrictions. And the truth is you don't. It's merely just a predicament of the time and situation that you're in. Having a lack of budget isn't necessarily restrictive. It's an innovative situation and allowing you to grow. Your growth ceiling can expand, and this happens over time. As you get more and more successful, your opportunities are greater, the opportunity to earn more income is greater as well. So focusing on what your operational limits are is the bad mindset, essentially, because if you're just looking at what you've got in your wallet, what you've got in your bank account, it's the wrong way of going with it. You're putting constraints on yourself and on your business as well. And it's the same thing when I talk about large-scale projects with these organizations. It's how we can use the things, budgets effectively, but also time effectively as well. So I wanted to make clear that restriction facilitates innovation. That's a key thing here. Restriction definitely facilitates innovation. Quite often when we're at a sort of toughest point or most restrictive point, we find strength and ways to deal with things that we never sort of comprehended or thought we could do. And this is one of the key things I want to introduce for you today. So we all know time costs more than money, but Why don't we ever think about this in regards to a business? We're constantly thinking about the financials. And again, it's frustrating for me when dealing with this, and again, a large scale organization, we should be thinking about the time. That is the greatest cost. That's the greatest cost for every individual here today, every business on the planet. Time's the greatest cost. So why don't we operate thinking about time? We're so focused on money. This is what's causing restrictions for us. It's what causes problems in my journey of dealing with solutions for them and creating solutions. And it's what also is causing problems for these businesses and organizations. So focusing on the key thing, where and how do I find more customers? I have worked with businesses locally. I have been a local startup myself. Started in 2019 locally full-time. I'd been doing it as a hobby beforehand as a bit of a side hustle. I dealt with this. Where and how do I find more customers? This is the biggest question that I get asked, and I see people asking all the time. I'll give you a little bit of a hint here, a little bit of something that I like to share with people. 54 million adults in the UK. That number is a huge number. There is opportunity within the numbers. 54 million adults are in the UK. So there's plenty of people out there to buy and sell to. We just need to figure out how to get to them, essentially. And one of the things that I start off with, especially if you've got a business that's local, and apologies if you don't have sort of perhaps localized business, but we will move on to some digital aspects in a sec. This is an example of perhaps a standard sort of British street. For reference, in this image alone, there's 40 households in this picture. An interesting fact, and I read this in The Independent, about 73% of Britons don't know their neighbours' names. And the average household knows approximately 1 to 3 other households on their same road as them, which is quite shocking. People often make the mistake of going, there's nobody out there that's going to buy my stuff, and they haven't looked. There's nobody out there that's going to be interested in my products. They've not searched for it. Start at your front doorstep. There's hundreds of people to the left and right of you normally, unless you live out in the sticks, that might be interested in your products. You can start there. Post flyers to the door, or say hello to people when you're walking down the street. We are often so reserved, we miss the opportunities for networking, connecting with people, even on our doorstep, as it were. So this is one thing that's really important. If you're local, look to the left and right and start there, as it were. Knowing your demographic, this is one of the areas that I like to cover. I covered this slide very briefly last year, but I want to bring it back again. Most service businesses fail to look at their local audience stats within the last 3 months or more. I use Street Check a lot when doing a bit of research, streetcheck.co.uk. It provides me with demographics on certain postcodes. There's a business here within this image, not that actual business itself, but the location is the exact same. And they were struggling to grow, and they were in a small area. It wasn't necessarily a big area that I'm trying to grow in. And I was talking to them about their demographics, and they had no idea. But they said, "Oh, we got a lot of elderly," and that's about as far as they knew. And so working with them and looking at the demographics, we understood that there's elderly, we understood that there's working people that aren't going to have much time. They already delivered their products. So we worked at doing subscription-based services. We worked at doing package-based services that would sort them out for the whole week. And they were delivering products that would give people that were able to come home and have it delivered at the doorstep. Elderly people that couldn't necessarily get down to the shop. We started to use the local data that's available to see what options are available for us and how we could get there. Streetcheck.co.uk. Check what your demographics are. Again, I'll be surprised if anyone has looked locally in the last 3 months, perhaps what their demographics are. I was making that mistake, and it's one of those things that has to be changed. Carrying on. Meet Joe. I've changed his name for obvious purposes, but an individual that I was working with, he was looking to try and target students and young adults. They had a club in town, and they wanted to get students to come in and actually work for them and do social media posting, pay them to do social media posting and interact on social media for them. So they were thinking about approaching to the university, which is a great shot. Students at the university approach the university. Most universities have advertising campaigns and allow outsiders to advertise with them. So what he focused on was thinking about, I could do social media, £100 an advert. And he was like, well, we've got to run multiple ads. This is going to be too much. We need to target all these people that enjoy going out and drinking and use social media and fun outgoing people. £100 an advert, that's going to cost us an awful lot to do that. So we reframed it. We changed things around a little bit. We didn't spend £100 on adverts. Instead, Joe, working on his business, was able to use design stuff. He designed flyers on Canva. He managed to print out 4,000 flyers for about £20. think he used bizet.co.uk for his flyers. We looked at Google Maps to see where the nearest student spots are. This is in Bedford Place, Southampton, a whole collection of bars. Put an advert on Indeed for about 48 hours, cost about £20 or so, and hired individuals to go out in the evenings on the weekends and actually handing out leaflets to the students. And we set the times, I believe it was between sort of 7 and 10 or so. So it wasn't too late that they were drunk, but still they're going to be sober enough to actually have a conversation, take the flyer and see if we're interested and get people to sign up. And Joe also was down there as well, making sure everything was running correctly. I think he got almost 100 signups, essentially, of people interested in being able to work with them. Like, that's a far better solution. You're able to interact with people. You're able to get people hired there on the spot. It made the difference. And apologies, I'm rambling through these, but they will be available on replay as well. Another one, and I covered this last year as well, but I wanted to expand on it a bit more. I had a friend that runs a dance school, local dance school, and she's trying to get the business growing. And she said, "Oh, it's difficulty to sort of targeting mums and dads." I said, "Yes, that's often a difficult situation. You can maybe go through the school and look at newsletters and things, but again, that might be a cost and things. You didn't have startup costs." So we started to use Google Business. One of the things that we looked at was we looked at corner shops that are near schools. Most of you have probably done a school run. You often had to pop to the corner shop afterwards, pick up some bread and milk and whatever you need to do. There's sometimes space within the corner shops to be able to advertise, stick a flyer or a poster or whatever it is. You often see circuses around in town and things like that. They allow for advertising space. What we looked at, and you can see the large red splodge here, all the maps. That's all the other dance schools, essentially. Instead, we used all the pins of where all the corner shops were in that pink circle. And we were able to advertise and put flyers in some of those corner shops. Some of them wouldn't allow us, of course, but we managed to put it in there for a bit. And she did start to get inquiries. A nice big splash poster at a child's level showing dancing. Great, keep the kids happy. It's low cost, it's affordable. She's getting daily foot traffic of people seeing this poster every single day. So one of the things I wanted to say was market where your competition won't. A lot of the dance schools are going to be online on social media, as she was, but actually get out there in person. Go to where your audience is going to be, as it were. It doesn't cost much to put up a poster or a flyer, essentially. Moving on to social media, ever so briefly. Posting content is a little bit like fishing without bait. You need to know what it is the fish like. I see so many people just posting content for the sake of having to post content, as it were. Now, that's all well and good, but you're not going to get anything back if we're realistic about it. You have to know what you're targeting. You have to know what you're posting, why you're posting it, the need for it, essentially. Another thing, if you are posting content, please make sure your hashtags are correct, because the algorithm is constantly changing. There's a free link here as well, hashtagstack.com, that will allow you to see what hashtags are ranking the best. Grab that link, check it out, put up a bank of them, save them to notes on your phone, so when you do post, you can grab the relevant hashtags for what it is that you're posting. But post something with intent, post something with reason, as it were, post something with an objective to get something out of it. I'll give an example. Over a year ago, I put a post on LinkedIn about how I had a crazy medical incident. I dropped dead at the gym. It was a huge sort of ordeal. I'm all okay. Everything's fine. The BBC aired a program about individuals that suffer with the same condition that I did. A fascinating program. I watched it, put out a post on LinkedIn the next day, tagged in the BBC and tagged in Pure Gym where the event happened. My goal was to structure the post in a way that's going to be emotionally inviting, informative, and also sort of thankful and grateful as well, giving praise to people. And one of the key things was I got it on topic. So it was literally the night after I put this post. So keep a relevant topic out there. Last 48 hours is your window to be able to post things. Go for something that's got shocking, eye-catching headlines, sort of potential to really stop people scrolling, as it were. Focus on something that's going to be emotional and thought-provoking. Give some stats and figures. That always helps, because it validates what it is that you're talking about. Tags and shout outs in a positive advocacy way. It also helps. Again, relevant hashtags to what it is, so it's categorized and will be seen by people. And respond to every single comment. Every single comment that you get, you need to respond, and it's just going to boost that post and show it at the top of people's feeds. In the end, I got just over 19,000 views, 400 different sort of interactions and reactions. That then led to about 8 months later, Pure Gym contacting me, doing a whole blog piece, a video in partnership with British Heart Foundation. I've been wanting to try and work alongside Pure Gym for a long time. I've worked with trainers, I work with individuals that operate in those gyms. I now have the contact details and have been in dialogue with those people. I couldn't figure out a way to get in touch with the people at Pure Gym to say, I want to work with you, I want to help your trainers. This situation facilitated this. Now, this is a lot of luck. I'm going to admit that, but putting it out there and reaching out, it didn't cost me anything to do. But I was mindful about how I was going to structure it and why I was going to structure it. The cost of time. If you're being paid nothing to market yourself, so if no one sat there in your living room with you giving you £10 notes for every time you post, then essentially everything you do has to be seen as an investment. So you could be wasting time on Facebook, you can be wasting time on Instagram and LinkedIn and any other sort of platform. If you're scrolling and swiping and things like that, fair enough. We all need that sort of fix and feed. Reduce that time. You do that for an hour or 2 hours, dedicate half that time for you posting content and putting it out there, connecting with an audience, responding to comments, building up things. You could have an audience of hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions, essentially, by engaging with people. Your time is however long you set it for. Don't just be consuming, be putting stuff out there, as it were, and start to notice the difference. Again, I'm rushing through, but I'm aware of time. One of the things I really do find very useful, if you're wondering about what to talk about and what to post and how to connect, figure out what people are looking for, figure out what people want. AnswerSocrates.com compiles all the questions that people put into Google. They're looking for various sort of things. I typed in dog walking. It's various questions on, are you able to, can I, should I, how do. Put in any subject matter you want. It's going to collate it. It's going to show you the Google trends of whatever that topic is. Figure out what people are searching for online. Structure your content and start posting that out to your audience. That way you're going to be able to connect with them and be relevant for what they're looking for. It doesn't cost anything to do this. Again, go to this website. It's free to do. And you're able to get CSV data, so you can put this into a spreadsheet and track to see how good this sort of stuff is coming out and how informative and how actually reactive people are going to be to what it is that you're cataloging and sharing, as it were. Another tip, I'm going to be throwing tips out there. Use Facebook groups. If you're trying to connect with people and you don't have much money, sign up to various Facebook groups that are going to be relevant, not just groups that are relevant about your business, but groups that are operating in businesses, local networks, mums groups, whatever groups that's going to be useful for you. In the group, you've got the search thing on the right-hand side over here. Go in the search, type in, anyone know, where can I, does anyone, looking for. You're going to get a catalogue of posts of everyone who has put that question out there. Scan through and look for the things that are relevant for you. Look for the people that you can help. Respond to their posts. Do this often. Do this at least once or twice a week. Respond to their posts, engage with them, give some helpful comments. Don't sell to them immediately. Be their friend and offer helpful advice. Check in with them a few days later. Did that help? Did you get the solution you're looking for? It's free. You've just made a connection. You've possibly made a pathway to a new sale or possibly a new client as well. Use groups, use the search function, use the things that people are actually going to be doing. Anyone know? Where can I? Does anyone looking for? Etc. Use that to make the difference, as it were. Okay, we're almost there. A few more slides and 10 minutes to go. Networking. I'm going to be talking a little bit about networking and engaging with people. One of the things that really sort of put it out there for me and made the change was leaving your ego at the door, as it were. Present yourself, and we talked about this, present yourself as you are. Authenticity wins every single time. Be true to who you are. One of the things I hated about networking when I first went out there, I was having months where I wasn't making any money, and I'll go there and talk to people. How are you doing? Yeah, really good. Yeah, really good. I was doing terribly. I was like, I've not made any money in the last 2 months. People were like, oh, okay. I wanted a network event where I could actually speak to people and go, things are tough. I'm not making money. What can I do? And then I couldn't find that. So I set up my own networking event. That's why I met Alan. But be who you are. Be authentic. Be real. Get that dialogue going. And speaking of dialogue, this is the thing that really made a change to my business. This is what kickstarted my local growth that allowed me to grow internationally as well. And this is our local sort of methods and hangouts, essentially, our local audience, as it were. It's one of the things that I'm so keen on suggesting for people to do. Go to where your customers would be, as I was speaking earlier. CEOs get their haircuts. Beauty salons and things like that are a fantastic place. Make friends that run them because they're going to be chatting all day. They're high footfall traffic locations that can sometimes convert quicker than social. My networking group has dissolved now. Unfortunately, the pandemic killed it, but I'll be doing a social media group thing coming up in the future. feel free to add me on social and I'll talk more about that. Social places such as salons, barbers, mechanics, pubs, all these sort of places, they have high footfall traffic. Speak to these individuals, build the relationships, essentially. It's one of those things where they can start to advertise your services. Once you become friends with them, leave a stack of business cards with them, leave some flyers with them. I've got barbers in town who I used to drop off flyers every couple of months. Do you mind just handing out a few of them? So, yes, leave them on the table. And they've got like the week's newspapers and stuff and other sort of flyers and stickers and things. Just put them out there. It's one of the things. Go to where the high footfall traffic is going to be. Make friends with the individuals that run those operations and those businesses, and then get them to sort of do the networking for you, as it were. So that's one of the sort of local things. One of the global aspects of it, though, that I really find useful, and it's definitely benefited me recently, Zoom networking. I suggest everyone definitely get back into Zoom networking and forget about local Zoom networking. Think global, think bigger picture. On Eventbrite, you can go and search specifically for online events that are free, any kind of category that you want, and the language. To give an example, I typed in Zoom networking on Eventbrite. I set the tabs for online events and free. I found 174 pages listing events. So close to about 2,000 events probably collectively from all around the world. I'm able to go and network with people in America. I'm able to go and network with people in Europe. Think bigger picture. Yes, there might be a language barrier, but set the language setting, set it to English. You can deal with people speaking English. Have the opportunity to speak to these people. This is if you're operating local, that's great. But if you have the opportunity to go global, start to go global. Think about that. There is so much opportunity. It's changed my business massively, and it's given me far more success. So think about this. Have the option to go global because it really is out there. Again, Eventbrite, it's free to do all this. You can connect directly with them. One of the things that I made the mistake of, a lot of people made the mistake of as well, is the recognition and surprise factor. There's so many people out there saying, you've got to be unique, be bold, be out there shouting, be the one person in a crowd that everyone notices. Yes, that's true to a degree, but at the same time, you need to be recognizable for what it is that you offer. If all these elephants came running at you, you go, oh, bloody hell, I heard of elephants coming at me. And then you take a second and go, is that a zebra-colored elephant? What the hell? Like, you need to be able to have people understand what it is that you do, what it is that you perhaps offer, where they can categorize you, because they're going to be processing and judging and making up their mind before they've even perhaps met you, before they've even had a chat with you. So make sure you're able to be recognized and then surprise them, as it were. And one of the things that I love about standing out from the crowd, and it's something that I've found great success for in regards to networking, is audio networking. Last year, audio networking blew off with Clubhouse. You've got Twitter Spaces. There's a whole series of audio spaces that I've been able to find success for. But one of the best things was I saw this article from this individual. And you can again find this article, Networking to Find Clients with Clubhouse, Zoom, and LinkedIn by Henry DeVries. The one thing that this individual was talking about in this article was a question that changes people's mindsets, and it's how can we amplify each other? I love this question. So when you are chatting to people, get down to the point after you've made those things and going, how can we amplify each other? That's a beautiful question. It celebrates each other's wins. There's no judgment of ego or anything. It's how can we both help each other? But amplify is such a better way of saying it, as it were. And I've got just a couple more slides, might run over by about a minute or so. Again, following on with that, audio networking dominated. I was reading an article from Spotify saying when they have content that's bespoke audio for individuals, it generates twice as long listening time for people. One of the things that you can do, if you've got a particular type of business and particular type of brand, create a playlist even. Share the music style. I often work on design stuff quite late in the evening. I listen to a lot of music. There's different playlists I've got created by other businesses going, this is what we use to work with. And some of the stuff is great. You can connect with people audibly as well. Forget about perhaps just talking to them. Think about the other senses and things like that. Create a playlist that you're going to be able to jam to. Get familiar with your brand. There we go, Alan, as well. Our playlist is available on Spotify. Get that little plug in there as well. And literally the last couple of slides. One thing that is a big mistake that I see people make whenever they're launching a product or a service and they're trying to reach new audiences is they don't go through the assumption versus opposites task. And this is a brilliant thing taught to me a couple of years ago, and I reference it. It's an absolutely wonderful task. I've done it in previous workshops. I've talked about, let's say, coffee shop and coffee sort of brands, as it were. When we think of coffee shops and coffee brands, as it were, we might often think of bland colors, maybe some hipsters and sort of average people going there. There's no alcohol. You can maybe buy a bag of coffee beans. You can meet people there for perhaps work or a casual coffee. They're often in fixed locations, and their social media is quite basic. Grind turned it on its head. Go again with the opposite. Assumption marketing, think of the opposite. They went with bright colors, with this bright pink. They wanted to change it to a classy mixed venue with lovely sort of tile work and plants hanging from the ceiling and stuff. They also added in a drinks bar. They added a subscription delivery service to it as well. Rather than necessarily having just a place for meeting people, they set up their own party trucks for hire. They're going to where people are, essentially. Again, through that event truck, and they've got personally appealing social. They've put memes and funny stuff on there. Whenever you're trying to connect with the audience, write down all the things you want to do and then put the opposites down. See what's going to be more effective in connecting with these people. It's free to do this task. It just takes a little bit of your time to do, but you might just figure out something that's going to capture some people's attention, as it were. And the last couple of bits, here we go. Talk to me. I love talking to people in person and things like that. One of the things I think is absolutely key and people don't bother doing it is business cards. Business cards are so important. It doesn't cost much to get business cards. Leaving a business card with somebody can make all the difference. I've got a stack of business cards on my desk here. I've got some more in my drawer as well. I like to look at them for the design aspect, but I also like to grab them so I know who it is I've been talking to as well. It's all well and good perhaps connecting on LinkedIn. If you have a memorable business card, that's going to stay in their wallet, stay in their desk. They're going to remember you for a particular reason. Business cards are definitely not out of fashion. They're still relevant. And people say, oh, it's expensive to get some business cards. Decent business cards don't cost that much these days. In fact, here, go to bananaprint.co.uk, free business cards. You can get, I think it's 50 business cards for free. Costs £2.95 for postage. So you're paying £3 for 50 business cards. Get them, put them in your gym bag, your purse, your wallet, whatever it is, wherever you're going to be. Give out business cards to everybody. It's a reminder. It's a point of contact. You're giving somebody something as a point of trust and validation. And just to wrap things up, and sorry for rushing through, please do watch the replay. I've put together in a goodie bag a digital ebook with 100 ways to find new customers. It's all set up for a phone design style, so you can actually sit on the bus or sit on the couch and have a look through that. 100 different ways to find new customers. Sorry for rushing through. I know there's a lot to take in there, but yeah, please do go and watch the replay. I'm going to be available for chatting afterwards. So sorry for being a couple minutes late, but thank you very much. My name's Adam Carley, and I am from Touchskye Designs. Cheers, guys. Let's stop that.
Mate, sorry, I should have said amazing as always. I actually wasn't in yours last year, so it was great to be in here this year. The chat were loving it. But to be honest, if anyone wants to have a chat with you in here, they can. We're in an open 45 minutes now. Expo 10 and networking are open. And then it's Sundowners with me at 4:45. So I will leave you here. And if anyone wants to chat with you, they can. Or like I say, Expo 10 and networking is open. And yeah, please do come and join me for an open chat at 4:45. Thanks, mate. See you in a bit.
Cheers, guys. I'm here if anyone wants to chat. Come and say hello. Ask me any questions. Again, if you want to look at any slides that I've posted, I can cover them again. I can bring them back on screen. And thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Like I say, I'm here. Put something in the comments if you want, or possibly come up on stage as well with me. Let you in. How do I? Oh, there we go. The hashtag website. Yep, I can share that again. Let me just remind myself, because I often forget. I think it's hashtag stack.co.uk. Let's have a look. What slide was that on? It's hashtag stack.com. My mistake. I'll put it in here. Hashtag stack.com. don't need to register. There's an ad for one of their premium services. Ignore that. You can use the main hashtag thing for free. Yeah, don't register or pay for anything. It's completely free. I'm not sure how I can invite people up. If anyone does want to come up or message me, that's more than possible. Yeah, but I'm still going to be here for a bit, so feel free to use the comments if you want. I was going back through and scrolling through. Thank you for the wonderful feedback, everyone. Sorry it was a bit sort of rushed through. I didn't mean starting a couple of minutes late there. Was technical difficulties, of course. The story of the day, as it were. Fiona stamp link cost £20 for the stamp. I can print it anywhere. That's absolutely brilliant. Fantastic stuff. I registered with the hashtag site. It didn't cost me anything. It's free to register. Don't sign up to any of their other services that they would show on their website. There's no need for it. I think they're advertising like 90% off on something, one of their programs or features. Don't even need to bother with that. I registered for free, and you can use it to generate your hashtag lists as well. There are premium services out there. I've used a few of them, but this is a free one. Again, just keeping that sort of cost and budget down. So yeah, that'll do the job for you most definitely. If anyone does have any questions, anything they'd like to ask, please do. I'm here. I'm more than happy to help. That's brilliant, Karen. Love that. Yeah. Google Maps, we have these tools available. It didn't cost us anything. It just costs time, a little bit of time. Yeah, using Google Maps to see which people had conservatories and yeah, door knocking or flyers and things like that. It makes a difference. People think that flyers aren't effective. If you have the right design flyer, something catchy or slightly jokey or something like that, or something that's visually impressive, it make all the difference. I tried to have on my slides some good visuals and things like that, some good stunning graphics and images. They make the difference. They really do. They get people to sort of pay a bit more attention. So if you have a great designed flyer, putting that through the door, there we go. Yeah, most of his business was done that way. It works. It still works. People think it's not working anymore. It does still work. There's that opportunity again of going local, door to door. If you're looking to find a customer and you've got a local service business, again, start knocking because you'll soon make the difference. Go to the high-end part of the town, whatever city you're in. We know where the wealthy areas are in our hometowns. Start there and work your way back in, as it were. That's where it really does make the difference. Again, it costs a lot on fuel these days, but it doesn't cost too much to go out there and spend a bit of time and a little bit of fuel cost, and that's it essentially. If there's any slides that I rush through too quickly, let me know. I can share my screen again. If there's anything or any sort of links that I breezed past and people didn't get an opportunity to sort of take note of them, then yeah, please let me know in the chat, and I'll put those links back up there. Just going back through the rest of the comments. Alan plugging a Spotify. Yep, leave your card on the bus and the seat when you go off and things like that. You had to be careful on trains and certain services because they are private organisations and you can get done for fly posting. So the old business card left on the seat and things like that, if it's going to be a relevant place and a relevant position, then yeah, most definitely just don't do it on every single seat, as it were, because you'll get done for fly posting. I saw two individuals once get forcibly removed from a train after they were made to pick up every single flyer that they put. Yeah. But in the ebook, it's in the goodie bag. I cover various different ways you can advertise and things like that. Signposting in city centres is still a really effective way. It's still something that gives people information. We have in the centre of Southampton here, we have things advertising computer fairs, record fairs, tattoo festivals and things like that. They still get high footfall traffic from people holding signs and walking around the city centre. It doesn't cost that much to pay a bloke to walk around for a couple of hours. The ebook is going to be available in the goodie bag. I know the goodie bags and things are going to be available at the end of the day. Don't worry, everyone that's registered and signed up is able to get it. I was putting together a course and things for this. There's still things ongoing with that and setting things up. So I thought, you know what, just give the book away for free. And I'm going to sort of develop the course and community and things a bit more as the year goes on. There's other people I'm working with in the development of this. But yeah, it's there's 100 different pages of different ideas. Not all of them might be relevant to you, but there's a majority there that will give you opportunities and things that could be of benefit as well. That's very nice of me. I'm happy to help. I mean, it didn't take long to sit down and write out a few ideas. It got difficult when I was getting to around about number 90. I was trying to think, like, have I written this already? But no, it didn't take too long to do, just a couple of hours or so to do. And then just threw it into InDesign to design it and make it sort of mobile friendly, as it were. You'll be able to, again, download it off email when you get the goodie bag and save it to your phone and check it. Have a read whilst having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, whatever suits your fancy. And have a look through and see if there's any messages. There's some things which might not be relevant. It depends, again, where you're based. I know we're sort of dealing with a bit more of a worldwide audience on this one, so there's some things that might not be necessarily relevant for some of our UK people, a bit more some of the European and American things like that. But yeah, there's still things that are going to be beneficial, I assure you, in that. Well, I might be here just for a couple more minutes if anyone wants anything. I think we've still got a couple more people perhaps in the room as well. If anyone does have any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, we might jump into the networking, and I might go and tend my booth as well and see how things go there. Feel free to put anything in the chat if anyone wants to find out anything more. Or if perhaps there's something I didn't cover as well. If there's anything that I perhaps didn't cover and you've got some queries on, or I didn't cover enough in depth, let me know in the chat there, and I'll cover those points as well. Again, for those of you that are still listening, thank you so much for all the comments. I'm just going back through all of them. A lot of thank yous and praises, and it's very, very kind of everyone. It's nice to read. Yeah, I'm based in Bedford Place in Southampton, just near the Mayflower Theatre, essentially. So it's quite local for me. I've worked with local businesses. I don't often work with local businesses too much these days. I still do some paid mentoring and things for some of them, a few workshops. I'm a mentor for the Abri Create Startup Business Group as well. So I do some of their events and things. A lot of my audience these days is a little bit more national, and some of them are a bit international as well. I'm currently working with a large-scale project actually in Southampton with 11 doctor surgeries. We're looking at rebranding, connecting with audiences across sort of the whole of west of Southampton. I'm also working with an Australian client at the moment as well, and potentially as of tomorrow, I've got a meeting tomorrow with a client based in Miami / Belgium as well. Or Berlin, I think it's Berlin, one of those two. But yeah, so I still am sort of operating locally if people need advice and tips and tricks and insight and stuff like that. But over, like I say, using Eventbrite and going to an international audience and using Clubhouse and things like that, I'm able to chat to people on a much larger worldwide scale. It really does make a difference for me. I've been able to just sell myself a bit better, bring in more income as well. I'm setting out the goals for income and stuff this year compared to the last couple. Has changed. Again, the whole mindset shift of using my time in a different way is what really did it. Understanding, like, if I want to earn this much and I've got this much time, then segmenting that into blocks. Okay, within this time frame, I need to earn this amount. And how can I do that? Most often we just go, yeah, we're just going to work and hopefully we get sales and we see what our income is at the end of the year. I've changed it around. We're going presetting my income. This is my income I want to earn. That's what I'm going to earn. And then working out that way on how I can dedicate my time. But again, it's that time and mindset shift that makes the difference. It made the difference for me, and I wanted to sort of share that for people this time. Right, I might wrap it up there. Oh, that's just it. I spent hours on social media and such for results. Think about content strategy. Think about perhaps content pillars on often we have to think about the three content pillars. Let me just quickly look at my PowerPoint. Actually, I was talking about this to somebody else. There's the three content pillars you need to think about. Yes, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to be a guest on the podcast. Yep, more than happy to do that. If you're going to be posting content and sort of expanding your brand on social media, you want to have these kind of three sort of categories, essentially, at least as a sort of baseline. You want to have posts that entertain and inspire, educate and inform, and then also convince as well. So think about those things if you're going to be putting stuff out on social media. Thanks very much, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to join the networking as well. Grab myself a cuppa and start to wind up for the rest of the day. Thank you all for attending my event, or my talk, as it were, and the event as well. And it's been absolutely brilliant. See you all in the networking. Cheers, guys.